Caspervision.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Caspervision. I don't know which podcast this is now already, but we've got I say it every time because we always have special guests here. But today we've got Kirsten, the medium that we met once upon a time when we did a paranormal investigation in Bodmin Jail, which was absolutely epic. So welcome, Kirsten.
Hi.
Thanks for coming.
You're very welcome.
How are you?
I'm really well, thanks.
As if I don't know, because we've just had a car journey for the last
we
half
just
an
had
hour.
an epic car journey, actually.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
and
no, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, and you like talking, don't you?
I talk for a living, so I do enjoy that, yeah.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what you do, where you, if you want to talk about your job, where you, obviously I've just said literally you're in Bodmin Jail, but what part of that, what do you do in Bodmin Jail?
So I run all the paranormal side of the business. Yeah. So I introduce people to the building and look at the possibilities of paranormal phenomena and help them to explore that and themselves, and also just kind of get them to feel the building and the environments around them and get them to know themselves a little bit better as well. So we explore science, we explore spiritual phenomena, and we also explore just dark craziness. So, yeah.
I'm gonna. You told me what your abilities are. You said you're not just a medium. Can you list the things that you are again? Because I can remember. What is it?
So it's really hard to profile one thing. So for me, I do fall under being psychic, being a medium, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, which means you see, hear, and feel. And
that's what she said.
Bruh. That goes back to Black Pebbles, right? Oh,
yeah,
goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, no one's going to have a clue, thank God. But it also puts me under the scope fully of witchcraft and demonology. So I do deal with the dark side of demonic stuff.
So I'm going to ask you a question now about the Bodmin Jail.
Yeah.
Because once upon a time, the first time I went there, it was really rustic, really old school. Nothing was really done. It was like a proper dungeon and dangerous. And then they modernized it.
Yeah.
What do you prefer? I prefer when it was old school, I'll be honest.
So I love really old buildings. I love broken buildings. I love the old rustic look. I love the trees and all of the nature. And I just love that beauty of being in a really ancient environment. Bodmin Jail is very, very old, but it's not ancient. What they've done to restore the building, I think, is equally as fascinating and phenomenal. It's just the whole place. Yes, it looks different. Yes, it might feel different to some people if they've experienced the old style. But what you've got to remember is this is a building that without the restoration would have fallen down.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have that. We just wouldn't have it. All of the areas, technically, you could say, were being condemned. They were out of use areas. And the building would have just reclaimed itself. Yeah. We wouldn't have such an important building left today. So do I like it now? I love the fact that you can explore all areas physically. I love the fact that we can showcase this amazing building. Visually, I can shut my eyes and see anything anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, the thing is, look, you could have a brand new built house and you could suddenly see things in your house which are different, like an old wall suddenly, or start picking up on the stuff. It doesn't actually matter. People say to me, my house is haunted. It's only 5 years old. Why? Well, look at the land that you sit on. At least with Bodmin Jail, not only do you have the land it sits on, but you do also have original buildings. So it's actually phenomenal.
Yeah. Funny enough, when I react to paranormal videos and stuff like that, a lot of it always starts with, this house was built on a graveyard and they don't know why the house is spooky booky. It's like, you think? You know?
So now you're going back to like the realms in 80s where we looked at Poltergeist.
Yeah.
And obviously at Bodmin Jail.
Hey, child.
Is
your mom home? Oh, fucking! He used to creep me right out.
Yeah, me too, mate.
And the little maggot in the whiskey bottle. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember
the tequila bottle. Sorry,
I remember it.
Can you remember that?
I just remember the remote control working in a different house, which is electrical interference, but that's because my brain's scientific as well.
That guy, mate.
I don't remember.
Hold on,
that
are
bit.
we in the same film?
Poltergeist.
Yeah.
So
the old man with the hat.
Yeah.
Did he have white hair?
yeah. And the little girl used to see him out on the
Caroline.
street.
Carolyn.
Caroline.
Yeah.
Do it again. Do it again.
Oh no, don't stop me.
Oh, don't.
Oh my god.
So yeah, where
But
the hell did we go
I
from
tell
there?
you, because you were talking about haunted houses.
Oh, yeah,
and what
yeah,
I was
yeah.
going to say is at Bodmin Jail, we have houses that are also built on old burial sites.
Oh, okay.
And because they weren't registered, they weren't, consecrated ground, they weren't hallowed ground, they weren't blessed, there's no registration as a grave being there. There's no gravestones because you're a prisoner. So you just get buried in the ground. You're forgotten about.
Yeah.
So it was very legal for them to build a house or houses on top of what used to be burial sites. But it's actually legal to build any property on top of old burial lands, providing the last person to be buried there's been nobody else buried for 100 years.
No way.
So if you had somebody who wasn't buried for 99 days, you just need to delay things and say you got stuck in traffic for that extra day.
Wow.
Yeah, because then
scary.
the body has completely decomposed, and also, which obviously doesn't take 100 years, but you're also looking at generations of family members.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not going to affect them with so much. I mean,
Is
I'm
there
not
any
sure.
houses around the jail that's been built on top of burial grounds that
the
public live in?
The whole housing estate behind us.
No way, man.
Yeah, it's built on a.
Buying one of
It's
them.
built on a
People watch this
Oh, yeah.
podcast now going, fuck it, we're
Lights-
moving.
Lights wobbling.
poltergeist.
Oh, there we go. So the whole place is falling to pieces.
These black things fly off the walls as well in here.
Yeah,
We
that's
was talking
okay.
about Dad's games. We started talking about
That's
paranormal.
to do with the gum on the sticky tape, mate. It's nothing to do with
Still
spirits.
fucking scary when it happens when you're talking to it catches your eye.
So
I'm such a wuss.
What are you going to be like spending a whole night in the jail with us?
just fucking Rambo it.
You're going to Rambo it?
Yeah, I'll just
You're
Rambo
gonna, okay,
Yeah.
all right. Are you going to come like tooled up and?
I want to see something.
Oh, yeah.
No. Sometimes a lot of things. The more I'm frightened of something, the
Yeah.
more it drives me to conquer it. Like heights, for
good.
example. You know.
That's good. That's
So-
because you're stubborn.
Yeah, I can be.
Yeah.
I can be.
How did you even think about that? I didn't need to think about that.
About what?
About you being stubborn. You know yourself better than I do. Yeah, I seem to know you better today.
Well, no. When you say I'm stubborn, only in the things that I really feel strongly about.
Yeah.
But I'm quite sort of, say for example, me and my wife.
Yeah.
You know, I'm quite the laid back person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so what will be will be. However, I can be quite stubborn in an argument.
I don't think you're that laid
I
back.
think
You
what he
reckon?
did. I think what he
Yeah.
did was like backtrack and come back and just say it because then he said it instead of me saying it.
Maybe I am. I don't know. Hang on. This is not about me. This is not about me.
It is about you. It's about us all.
This is going into psychology, right?
But what I was going to say is, with all these, I'm going to call them abilities because it is like a superhero, like a super ability, right? A superhero.
Yeah.
When did you feel like you had these abilities?
Probably at the age of 6.
Really?
Yeah.
What was happening?
Well, because I could just see things other people couldn't see. I was aware of conversations that were going on that I wasn't privy to. I knew things that I didn't even understand how I knew that stuff. And I also had a really deep connection with nature and the world around me and how everything came together to be as a whole, just via energy. And I was really fortunate the way that I was brought up because I was always encouraged to read and explore in my mind and actually learn about nature and where you come from and all of these things. So I don't mean like about the birds and the bees, like, okay, bees and beehives and birds and their nests, but not the birds and the bees and where you come from, but actually from a very molecular level. So I always had a really deep interest and a very deep understanding of what was going on. And then, of course, it doesn't help when I'm talking to people who genuinely have died, and then I'm being told off because I'm talking to people who aren't there anymore.
Yeah.
I'm making up stories, and I never got chastised for it. I just always got, okay, Kirsten, just sit down.
Did people just think you was nuts?
Of course they did. As a teenager, I still have a reputation now from people at school.
Yeah.
I have some really cruel comments sometimes. Oh, she was always crazy. Oh, she was always
as a
nuts.
kid.
Yeah,
kids are
And
brutal.
I'm just like, that's okay. I don't care about those things
Yeah.
because no one on this planet actually has to prove anything to anybody.
Yeah.
So I am who I am, and I know what I can do, and I know what I see, hear, and feel. And if that falls under the range of paranormal, then so be it. But part of my job is actually getting people to understand, for me, that there are possibilities, that there are things that exist beyond our perception. And everybody has the ability to do things that other people can't. And if you can accept that you're an exceptional mechanic and I'd blow a car up, then that's your exceptional thing that you can do. And I'm just useless at that. So, why shouldn't somebody say, well, actually, maybe she can do that, even if we don't get it, even if we don't understand, even if we can't do it? How is it that there is so much divide with things which are spiritual? And this has gone back thousands of years. I mean, this is, religion.
Yeah,
I'm not going to get into religion, but, I was brought up in a Catholic, in Church of England. I was already learning about spiritual stuff right from a very early age with nuns and the church and my schooling. So I was already looking at the Holy Spirit and resurrection and dead people coming back to life essentially as energy. So, and healers. Jesus was a healer.
Yeah,
so I know, his story is exceptional, etc., but why can't anybody else do that? People have been doing it for centuries. Look at Chinese medicine, look at Chinese practices, look at the Japanese. All these amazing things in the world, and it seems that we're very critical of the things that we can't quantify physically.
Yeah.
So what I'm presuming then, from what you've just said there, you do believe in, it might sound a stupid question, but you do believe in God, because there are people that, you don't believe in God.
I believe in a higher spiritual energy being, and that's not the same. I believe in energy, and that we are around energy and forces of energy that we can't necessarily connect to physically, of course, because it is just energy. But there are things beyond us, much more powerful than us, that can create issues. So if you were looking at the Holy Spirit, well, then you could be looking at higher energy beings. If you're looking at angels, you could then be looking at powerful forces, which, it just depends how you look at it. It depends of your interpretation of what an angel is. Some people will say angels are really, they're dangerous and they're really bad. Other people will be like, they're the most beautiful beings that ever existed and still do. So I think really it's down to perception. And I think it's to do with your own, how you interpret information and how that's acceptable for you. I would never push a religious belief or even my own belief system on what I know onto somebody, because why should I? It's up to you. It's you, you're you, I'm me, and you interpret the environment around you really, really differently. So it's not for me to say, oh, no, that's
There's no
wrong.
right and wrong, is there? There's no right and wrong.
Well, I love that so much.
What do you say to the people that say, spirits and ghosts and all this sort of thing is just something that people make up to make it feel easier when you die?
Yeah, that's fine if that's their belief system. I accept that.
But it's not.
I don't necessarily think it's mine, because I've had experiences that would, and I've shown people using, techniques based on science, how we connect to each other as a physical living human being. And if I can explore the possibilities that you can connect energy and feel someone without them touching you, and you can explore telepathy and transfer information via energy connection without talking in real life situations with two living people, and they get it and it works, not because of autosuggestion, not because I've told them what to expect, because I'm very careful that I don't. It's then up to you to interpret whether that's fact based on science and evidence and Einstein's theory on energy and all the astrophysicists and neuroscientists in the world that use the same thing. Is it because I don't have this huge billion-dollar industry of science and laboratories behind me to prove that? Are you going to then say that your aura doesn't exist, even though the Japanese proved they can quantify and measure that your aura by light emissions from your body?
Really?
So if you can do that and they can actually prove those things, why what I'm saying is so wacky? I don't get it.
Right, how have they proved that?
They sat a guy in a really soundproof, lightproof box, and they put video on video on video, camera on camera on camera, and they woke him up at specific times. They allowed him to rest, move, eat, sleep, drink, all those things at specific times. They gave him music. They gave him all these things. And then I can't remember what it's called. There is obviously this project, and I just can't remember what it's called. And what they did was they analysed the light emissions coming off his body, and they realised at its peak it reached 1 metre in all directions around him, and therefore they could quantify the amount of light emission from his body.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what is that aura then? Is that
Your energy field.
it's just the energy, yeah?
So
and people have different colours, right?
Everyone has different colours depending on your frequency, depending
Right.
on your resonancy at the time. So now you're very focused, you'd have a very lower energy field. Whereas we were in the car and you were buzzing around and having a laugh and joke.
Trying to get bloody petrol.
Yeah, your resonance is going to be slightly higher.
Right.
So you're going to be a brighter energy.
Yeah.
You know when people say, oh, I was just feeling really blue.
Yeah.
I wonder what colour your aura could be. You know, when you go, oh, you've got a very green aura, that means you're a healer. Well, you just look at life. Paramedics wear green. You get sent to, go and have a walk in nature.
Nature's green, yeah.
Yeah, and it's how we depict things. So
Right. Okay. And you said earlier that when you were 6 years old, you started seeing things.
I think it's before that, but I can definitely remember at 6 years old. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you say you started seeing things, what is it? Now, when I see things, I see physical objects, right?
Yeah.
I see things in front of me that I can reach out and touch. I know the distance. And it's from my eyes.
Yeah.
Not when I close my eyes and I can imagine.
Yeah.
What do you see? When you say I see things, do you literally physically see somebody stood in the corner, or do you have a super strong sense that
Both.
it's there?
Both. I have a strong sense that it's there. Sometimes that comes with an image. Sometimes it will come with words. Sometimes they're as physical as you are standing in front of me, sitting in front of me.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes they're just myths. Sometimes they're dark shadows. Sometimes they're non-human entities and demonic and darker. You raised that.
And are they, let's just say, for example...
I like it in movies.
Yeah. Well,
Just not in real life.
Where do you think movies get from? Where do you think that ideas come from?
it's
The
come from
reality.
somewhere.
I've spoken to people who make movies. And
or
I'm saying-
imagination. It just comes from imagination,
Well, of
right?
course it is. Of course it is.
No,
We
I
have
can
everything.
make a movie to play devil's advocate. I can make a movie. I've not necessarily experienced anything, but I can make a movie just because I have a good imagination. I've looked at other films. I know what works well. I know what people like. I know what people scare people.
Stop. What if you lived on a desert island? There was nobody in your world but you. You raised yourself and you have no idea how you came to existence. You have no access to the internet, no access to the outside world. You don't even know there's an outside world. And suddenly...
I think Steven Spielberg had more than that.
You become creative.
Well, what do you mean? What are you asking?
So you're saying as somebody who's not had any exposure, which of course you wouldn't be able to do that to someone, wouldn't then not have an imagination to create?
Oh, absolutely. But what I'm saying is
imagery?
Imagination can be built on, right?
Yeah.
So you can, like anything, it's like
built
a
on
muscle.
things that we see.
It's like, not necessarily what we see, what we feel, what we experience, what we hear.
Yeah.
You know, you can hear a scream in the distance.
Yeah.
Your imagination might think, oh, that's another person on my island. I thought I was alone. But really, you go to that place, actually, it's a bird that sounds like a human.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so...
It's interpretation.
Yeah. So
And analysis. And then you have to go and research. So you go and you find it's a bird that screams like you. So therefore, you know it's not another person. But you've done that analysis. You've done that research. You now know what that sound is.
Yeah.
And when you do that, and then you come to an impossibility where you can't quantify that, you can't get your base. You don't know what that is still. Where does that sit? It sits in the realms generally, in this context of paranormal, which means not normal to your everyday life.
In the realms of unknown.
Exactly.
Yeah. The thing is with this conversation, because it's so wide, it can literally branch off to so many. Each subject you could literally talk about for hours. Just on each subject.
Years.
You know? Years. Yeah.
A lifetime.
Yeah.
3 lifetimes. You'd never find the answers.
But the thing is that I struggle with. I like to have conversation. I like to go back and forth with things.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to come across argumentative or it's like dismissive or anything like that.
You're not
but
at all.
I'm only trying to be the voice of some people listening.
Yeah.
But, the people that are, I don't believe in that, I don't believe in this. And
Can I throw a spanner in your works?
you can try, yeah.
Yeah. So people say they believe, they don't believe, or they're skeptical, which means they're just not quite sure. I'm still skeptical. Even though I know, even though I've seen, heard, felt, even though I know that some of the things that I do and some of the things that I produce for people are exceptional and beyond reality in the sense of the word, I'm still very skeptical because I still want to know how, why did that happen right there and then? Why did that happen to that person? How did I even know that? How is that even possible? I don't have all those answers. So I'm still skeptical.
See,
I need the answers.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's why I stopped doing when I was younger. Like I've told you before, when I don't know whether you remember or not, but
I do.
I was doing tarot cards and stuff, and it was the moment when I stopped. I didn't need tarot cards to start reading people.
Yeah.
I thought, well, this is just me reading people quite well,
Yeah.
And so that's when the doubt hit me. I was just like, no, this is rubbish.
So when I do tarot cards, so I get this whole reading people, and if you know how to read people, you can gain lots and lots of information that maybe you think, oh my God, how did you know that? And it's very obvious if you know how. But when I do things like divination, tarot card readings, I'm talking about very personal things, very deeply embedded things within your existence that is not, you can't see that from the outside. You can't judge that by looking at someone's personality because people come to me very nervous. They come to me a bit anxious.
Yeah.
They come to me hyped up or really depressed. So you can't judge somebody by what you're seeing on the outside because it doesn't work. It works.
Well, I was telling things like look out for this person with your friend and all that sort of thing, and people are like, oh my God, yeah, because that's so and so. I was like, where did that come from? Did I just make that up and just hit a lucky, bullseye?
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was. You can see.
Yeah.
Maybe you can see people. Maybe you can. Maybe it was, but you just, you've gone down the other path of
The thing
bullshit.
is,
maybe I'm just good at reading people.
as humans, we're really good at dismissing things.
Yeah.
We're really good at saying no because we can't quantify it.
Science has taught us that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exploration is an amazing thing, and if you can explore your mind in ways that other people don't, you're on a winner. You're on a winner just for your own self things. Yeah, you're definitely on a winner.
It's even the way of the world though now. Everything you have to know how it works. If you don't know how it works, so fuck it, I'll Google it. Isn't it? And if you have to find out how stuff works.
Yeah.
You do.
Well,
and if you can't find that information,
some people just live life totally oblivious and don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you're talking about different, maybe even generations there.
Yeah, it could be, mate. Yeah. You've only got to look at
different types of people.
The older generation. Then they're not bothered about Google. Like,
No.
I read it in a book in 1940. You know? It's like, all right, everything's changed now. You're like, oh, that's it. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can still read that same book on an ebook.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed. We go around in circles. It's just the way that we use life is differently, I believe.
So can you explain some of the different abilities that you've got I think we all know what a psychic is.
Okay.
What about the other ones that you've got? Just delve into them
the way I look at myself is that I see, hear and feel things which are not ordinarily seen, heard or felt. I can hear very silent energies which are really loud, and I can hear loud energies which are really busy. I can hear or see bright and dark energy. I just experience the world differently. I'm just differently wired. I just tune things differently. I just experience things. Like I don't have to sit in a setting and go, right, we need to just plan this now. What are we going to do? Okay, I'm going to tune into this person. This is
do you
like,
turn it off and on?
No, I'm just who I am.
Yeah.
So it's like I either can do it or I can't do it. This is my thing. And I do it and I'm like, wow. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I got that really right. And that's so crazy. And then that's when my brain goes, wait, how did I even know that stuff?
Yeah.
So for me, it's really difficult because everybody wants to label, everybody wants to say, oh, you're this, you're that. I'm just me.
Right.
And I just experience
But it falls
things.
into different categories.
Of course it does. And the reason it does that is so we can recognize things. Oh, yeah, that person's psychic. Oh, yeah, that person does that weird stuff like they're a medium or something. Or, oh, they're clairvoyant, they see stuff. Or, I'm always getting told that.
I've, there was a time before, I think on a live stream or a video or something like that, when I mentioned that I used to do tarot cards.
Yeah.
Now I got quite a few, not a hell of a lot, but a few messages saying you shouldn't mess with that stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas some people, what is that all about? Because some people they actually go to get their tarot cards read and they love it and it's all good. It comes from a good place. And some people look at it as if it's some sort of Ouija board or something. Mm-hmm. And then when I say Ouija board, I've just used that as a reference of, oh, that's horrible. You shouldn't mess with Ouija boards. But you actually find that. So there's lots of confusion about what's right, what's real, what you shouldn't touch, what you should touch, and what is it with tarot cards, for example? Is it good? Is it bad? Should you mess with it?
I think there's a lot of superstition, and Hollywood plays a huge part in that. You know, you just look at the Ouija films, and you know. So if you take a,
that's why we don't watch.
Well, we think of Ouija, mate. We just think, right, we're gonna get fucking possessed.
Yeah,
we're gonna get possessed.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna attach onto me. Have a fucking car accident on the way home. Yeah.
But would that have happened anyway?
Oh, well, that's the question, isn't it?
Well, yeah. You don't know.
That's me. I didn't know that dude was going to pull out on you earlier, but he did.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Oh my god!
Really? Fucking hell!
My God. I might go red. Stop! I literally will. God, now I'm going to go red because I've said it. Oh, stop. Okay, let's talk about something else. Go back to
you're right though. You're right though, because that like you assume. Well, you don't assume. I mean, I was pulling your leg there, but obviously I was driving down. This guy was like, just literally pulled in front of me, and I was just like, "Oh, you should. Why didn't you see that?"
Yeah, why didn't I?
Yeah.
There's the expectation.
Yeah.
That I should see her and feel everything at every moment in time. So did I switch off? And I didn't switch off. There was no feeling of immediate danger or imminent danger. So therefore, my brain didn't go, "Wait, okay, dude, slow down a minute."
Yeah, but then if Ben picked you up and said, "Kirsten, can you do me a favour and keep a close eye on the road and just keep me safe?" Then she might have said, "Ben, he's going to pull out on you in a minute."
Yeah.
Because I'm tuning into that.
You don't know, do you?
No, I don't, and I don't know. Maybe I couldn't have done that.
Isn't that sort of...
I'm just scared of the unknown.
If that was the case, if you could just tune into that sort of stuff...
Yeah. You're saying I can't?
People... No, people... I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that people would... use that ability to so much more than whether somebody's going to pull out on you on a road.
Okay, and then you look at specific groups of military who use remote viewing, astral projection, deep spiritual connections in order to gain information, and that's been done since the 70s.
Oh,
the CIA and stuff, they've hired psychics before,
that's true. Yeah.
What about remote viewing?
What's remote?
Where you sit in, so I could be sitting here and you say, so the military say, here's some coordinates, can you tune into those coordinates and tell me what's there? And they just look at this and they go, I don't know what they do. Yeah. There's some very serious looking guys doing this. And they tune in and they say, I can see this, I can see that, the dark side of the moon and these structures and everything else. And they're like, okay, thank you. And they keep you don't have a life because those people aren't known, they're taken because their information is so specific. When you get into, and I'm not going to avoid your question, by the way, on Ouija boards because I'm going to answer that. But when you look at things like aliens and ufology.
Oh, I believe in aliens.
Do you?
Yeah.
Why?
It's just more realistic.
Is it?
It's more believable. Because if you think
that
about...
you can travel through space and time without a physical object or with a physical object. That you can exist in different realms that you can't physically exist in. So we resonate... No,
I just believe that we can't be in this humongous universe. We can't be the only ones here.
For sure.
We're a microscopic dot in a... Yeah.
Big universe full of stars.
Yeah, with multiple suns, like
but
billions of suns.
No one has told you or shown you yet, today, officially, that there are other people or other beings that exist. It's just hearsay, and it's skepticism. So why do you believe in that, but not believe in something that you can quantify and science has proven exists?
Well, yeah, but hang on. What has science hasn't proven?
Energy.
Well, they've proven, I suppose. Well, I'm not too sure, so I can't speak for that. But I don't think that they have proven that mediums exist, paranormal exists, things like that exist.
But we base our whole belief system in life on the fact that these people, these healers exist.
Who does?
The Bible, religion.
Well, yeah.
So that's money, or is it religion? Is it a belief system? Is it an acceptance as something that we don't understand?
But I just think
pretty fucking deep, whatever it is.
That's what she said.
Oh my God, boys! Oh my Jesus!
Yeah, man, that's gonna. This guy. I've not said a word hardly yet. Mate,
no, and everything that comes out of your mouth has a really bad innuendo.
But because
it's what. Listen,
sorry, man.
You've watched my videos. It's what I say, isn't it? I say it at any given moment. I've got to stop.
But throughout the whole conversation, my brain's going constantly about, and by the time it's a couple of minutes later and I've thought of something, it's on something else, and I just can't.
Yeah. But
it's difficult.
But what I'm saying is, so when we die, and like we're talking about spirits and tuning into a different realm and things like that, it seems quite far-fetched for the normal person to consume. But when you talk about aliens, that because of just what we've actually seen, what have we seen? Well, with telescopes, what have you seen? What with telescopes, looking up into the stars, looking up into the sky physically, it's never ending. The chances of other things to be there, it just seems more logical. If you were to say, do you believe in something that you can physically see and guess, because you can see things up in the sky
that don't exist anymore because they're already gone? But I understand.
But how vast the universe is, or do you believe in something which we can't see, we can't smell, we can't touch, we can't sense? Most of us. You can also, what are you're going to go with the aliens, aren't you?
I go with all of it, because on my nights I prove to people that you can feel without physical touch, and you can have a sensory perception which is physical without physically touching somebody.
Kirsten, do you believe that you have to? A lot of this paranormal stuff happens to religious people, spiritual people that already believe in spiritual stuff.
That's a good point.
Do you believe you have to think like that in order to see stuff or have experiences with the paranormal?
No. One of the things that when I'm introducing people into the jail, I say is, actually your belief system, it doesn't matter. Leave it at the door just for a minute, because I have truly people who come on my nights who do not believe. Absolutely.
So not religious.
Categorically. They are argumentative, they're disruptive, they're very rude sometimes, and they will push buttons on you that you think, hold on, that's really now out of order. Because I would never come in and tell you how to do your job.
That actually comes across quite sort of insecure about what,
it's a dangerous thing to be doing, because all I am asking people to do, I'm not even asking people actually, people have come there for a reason. And what I'm saying to people is we're exploring the possibilities, not what actually exists, what doesn't exist, about the possibility of what could exist, the same as with aliens, the same as, so we live in parallel universes all the time. And that, science has shown us that with space and stuff. So when I have people who categorically don't believe, I say to them, that's fine. But you actually are going to be the person I focus on the most. Right. Because if something happens, when it happens to you, it is not within your framework to deal with it.
You have to point it out
I'm
to them.
going to, no.
Oh, right.
They have 9 times out of 10 have an experience that leaves them with their head in their hands, absolutely mortified, because they have no clue what has just happened. And
it's broken everything they've believed in.
And no idea how to process that information.
Yeah.
So then I feel it's my duty of care to go up and say, it's okay. It doesn't matter.
I told you.
No, it doesn't.
Careful on the stairs.
I say that anyway.
We still say that.
But they don't, it doesn't exist. So what are you worrying about?
So do you think, though, going back to Mace's question, do you think that it helps if you're more religious or?
No, actually, I don't want you to come in with a preempted vision. I want you to come in just as you, just as a human being, walking around, for instance, where I work, Bodmin Jail, with an attitude that you want to do something different for the night, you want to explore something, and you want to ask questions. And what better place to do it than in a place that has a reputation? But also, the building itself is just so unique. So why not do it at Bodmin Jail? And if you're going to have your first paranormal experience, or maybe your last, then why not come to Bodmin Jail?
Fucking hell, man. We need to get...
Maybe your last.
We need to get...
Looking great you are. But what I just want to say, sorry, Mace, just quickly. When we go out on our ghost hunts and paranormal investigations...
Scare yourself, stupid,
Well... We wouldn't do it if we totally didn't believe.
But that's based on curiosity, isn't it?
It's we want to know I don't think that we'll ever find out. I don't think anybody will ever find out for true.
What are you going to do if you actually prove it to yourself? What are you going to do with that information?
It depends on what proof.
Yeah. So
But
what proof?
what seeing something in front of me?
Yeah.
So if I saw...
So if you categorically knew you were in a room by yourself and you could prove you are 1,000% in a room by yourself.
Yeah.
And someone just stands there.
Motherfucker, I'm down. There's nowhere to go, man. There's nowhere to go.
The first thing
what would you do with that?
My skeptic head would be, my brain is that powerful. Mm-hmm. I've literally created something in front of me because I'm constantly thinking about it over
and my
and over
question
and
is,
over
why
and
would
over
you do that to yourself?
Because probably I wouldn't want to believe in it. I probably wouldn't want to believe in it.
So you'd conjure something in your mind that would be scary and give you a thought process that makes you question your belief. It doesn't seem right.
Well, yeah. But no,
point.
but it's well, you say that, but that's like having like nightmares. If you go to bed thinking about, you just watched a horror movie and you're thinking about it, you don't want to have nightmares tonight. You don't want to have nightmares, but you end up having nightmares because you thought about it.
But that's your brain processing something that you physically have just experienced.
Yeah.
You're talking about your brain experiencing something you have yet to physically experience.
Yeah.
And
how
actually,
about sorry, Kirsten. How about if something happened and you said goodbye to someone, you were the last one to see them before they sealed them up.
That is deep.
Sealed them up and buried them.
I'm not going to say it.
What if something came back?
She definitely said that.
What if something came back and told somebody else something that you knew? That only you knew.
Oh, so like when I say
a message comes back from the undead that only you knew. Yeah, because I've had stories from people before.
See, I would have to have multiple examples of that happening for me to know. Well, okay, because you can have a shot in the dark.
What I'd like to do is get people who have experienced those very same things with me, and the multiple people that have gone through those experiences to talk to you about them. You know, the times when I'm talking away, and then I'll say, you know, when you were stood right next to them just before they died, and you were holding their hand, and you put this specific thing with them, or you said these specific words. Does that make any sense to you? And they're like, oh shit.
Yeah, so like if
How
I
would you know
if
that?
I see that that would freak me out, and that would make me go, is it
yeah,
real?
But that's what I mean. That wouldn't make you think I've made that up in my head.
No, absolutely right, and that's an example like that would make me go, shit, is this real?
Say for example, you did put something in somebody's hand, and there was nobody else there.
Yeah.
You know, and then
somebody
told you,
they
said thank you for that.
Yeah, that would really make me feel like there could be some truth in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. I'm not totally closed-minded. You know,
it would take something like that to make me believe. But I'm sort of the same as you. I'd be like, say for example, is what I've just talked about, and I was the last one to put something in the hand. I'd think in my head then, there must have been cameras in there. There must have been cameras, CCTV. They've seen me do it. Somebody knows.
Oh my God, you're getting like paranoid about conspiracies. Yeah. Oh my God, they videoed me and now they're sharing it with the whole world.
Why would they do
and this
that?
one person who's never met me has just done
that's
it.
That's the way my mind works now with science and the way the world
calm
is.
Down.
They want you to feel like that.
Okay, I didn't tell you this in the car because I didn't want you to go and look at it and prepare yourself.
I don't anyway. I never research.
I know you're a professional. But I was that excited about you coming on, and what I did is I went onto the YouTube community on both Caspersight and Caspervision.
Yeah.
Subscribe and do the thing.
Click here.
I said we have a medium coming on the podcast this weekend.
It's rude that I'm only medium. I'm
psychic medium.
Well, what should I call you then?
Well, so for me, I think that
I did actually say psychic medium.
Yeah, it still brackets my work though. I'm more of a spiritual communicator. I communicate at many different levels with spiritual things, which doesn't have to be dead people.
Okay.
Spiritualist.
Well, I'll change it to...
No, can't label it as a spiritualist. That doesn't cover all of it.
I don't practice spiritualism.
Oh, okay.
I practice connection.
Right.
Science.
I'll change it to... We're getting some crazy ass women.
Darling, you can call me whatever you can call me whatever you want.
So if you had any questions, please.
Yeah.
Okay, we got
go. I love this.
So we got 57 questions.
Go.
We're not going to go through all of them. Right. Okay.
It.
First one.
Yeah.
Why don't mediums ever ask spirits about God or where they are? Questions like that would be good. Sorry. Questions like that would be good. Or why the ghost's addicted to chairs and drawers.
Wow.
For example, when
Poltergeist.
why do ghosts just move chairs?
Okay.
Move stuff.
So
Do this.
Okay, that's a force of energy.
Two questions there.
Yeah. Okay, so poltergeist is different. Poltergeist, noisy ghost, a
That's
spiritual
right.
energy.
German, right?
Yeah, so it's an energy force. You've just gone up in my estimation. Now I'm actually sitting with educated people. That's so cool.
I'm really educating me.
Come on.
God, sorry.
I'm trying to be serious here. It's a serious question.
So,
Come on, crack me up, mate.
so a noisy
I'm gone, mate. Need a break.
So, an energy force that is strong enough to move a physical object or interact with someone physically. That's my interpretation of poltergeist.
Yeah.
A lot of people's interpretation of poltergeist are that they're dangerous because they'll harm you. They go out picking up stuff and throwing at you. I don't believe that. And do they just move chairs and ghosts? No. I had cups lifted, just paper cups, not like china cups. Cups lifted up off the side and put down on the floor, upside down, in a room. I had literally just walked out and gone, oh, damn it. Walked back in and gone, whoa.
Yeah.
Where did that just come from?
I think that maybe
Screws flying across the room, buttons falling out of nowhere. Like, these aren't normal, like,
Okay.
oh my God, there's a chair just moved. I mean, if you want to set up a chair, I don't think it's going to move.
But the first question, why don't mediums ever ask spirits about God?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. And what was the answer?
Do you have a belief system? Yes, is the answer. Is there life beyond what we accept it to be?
Yeah.
Physically? Yes, has been the answer. Not all the time do I get answers. Why? It's quite rude. You've got to remember that you need to talk to these spirits, if they exist, which I believe they do in some capacity. You need to talk to them as human beings, not like your generic questions. Can you hear me? Are you with me? How many are there of you? Okay, fair enough. You can ask those questions too, but ask intelligent questions. Like, would I just walk up to somebody who randomly in the shop and go, hey, dude, bruh, do you believe in God? Bruh. You just wouldn't do it, would you? You just wouldn't do it. So I think that...
Well, I would if I knew I was speaking to a ghost.
Do you believe in God?
I would say, is God real?
Are they not an embodiment? But God is not a physical creation.
How would you know that?
Because that's what we're led to believe.
Well, nobody knows. This is the questions
I'm
I
telling
want
you,
to ask.
I'm telling you now, he's a mouldy old dude sitting somewhere because he's ancient. This dude, who was this guy? So was God somebody who was really powerful within a community? Or was he an energy force that someone picked up on?
Yeah. Well, this is what I would ask. If I knew there was a ghost here, I'd be like, look, can you just tell me for a fact?
But what if they go, do you know what? I don't even like you. You're in my space. Get out.
I said, no, you're in my fucking house. Piss off.
They fucking scratch you down the face. Mate. That's what they do.
Yeah.
But I get it. I get the question. And it's actually a really interesting question. I do ask intelligent questions sometimes. And I do ask questions that, kind of pique an interest, pique a response, a reaction. And that's what it is. I will quite often just wander around and just leave my phone recording or something and saying, like, I know I'm here again. I'm just going to need you to go and do this. So if you want to talk to me, you can. That might pick up what I can't hear. You can just tell me to get out if you want. You can tell me to leave. You can just tell me like anything you want, or you can just not talk to me at all. That's fine.
Yeah.
And it's open to a subjective analysis. And I literally just I'll play it back and I'll hear something and I'll be like, whoa, who was that? Why would you even say that to me? Like, why do I need to be careful? And then I realize it's not the spiritual world that I should be careful of. It's something physical that was about to happen. So again, is it about us physically as living people saying, oh, be careful of that car going down that road? Or is it something spiritual that then says to you, well, be careful? You have to analyze that and figure that out.
So spirits can predict the future?
No, that's ridiculous. No one can predict.
So how
the
can a
future.
spirit say, be careful of next week when,
How can I say it? I don't predict the future. I just have a sense of awareness that allows me to say, do you know what? I have a really bad feeling about this.
Right.
You need to be really careful. And maybe that image is played off in my mind and I can see that happening. And I need to now say to you, do you know what? I don't even care if it's not real. It was so vivid. It was so real. I need to share that with you because I'm worried about you. And it's about care. It's about having, a belief in yourself. I don't really care about, what I believe and what you believe are two different things. We're two different people. We have our own intellect. So, I don't know. Do ghosts? I don't know. Maybe one day they'll be like, hey, yes, we do.
Yeah.
Like, why would you say that? Maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe they've got it wrong. Maybe you've got it wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe there is no right or wrong. Maybe it is just as it is.
What is the most frightening experience you've had?
Frightening
Experience you've had, and how has it affected you?
The most frightening was having somebody step into my energy and give me a complete memory of a sexual assault from 3 men. That was horrific.
Shit.
That's horrific. I never felt anything like that in my life. So I was standing in an abandoned space.
Freaked me right out.
I don't want to hear that shit. That scares the fuck out of me, mate. See, that stuff.
Fucking weird
I
shit.
was stood just looking into this beautiful,
Like a daymare.
abandoned section of the building. And suddenly I felt something and I was like, what is that? And I could just feel it come from behind and submerge within me. And I remember in my brain, you saying about that imagery in your brain, I was seeing myself, but looking down at myself, wearing completely different clothes. And at that moment, I was like, why am I wearing this like blue skirt? This is really strange. And so I absorbed myself within what I was seeing, thinking that's crazy.
So hang on, what do you mean you absorbed yourself? You were like you felt yourself falling deeper into the feeling,
my
the
brain,
thought.
my thought process was just like, wow, so let's just take stock of that a minute. Like, okay, I thought I saw this. Am I seeing this? Let's just settle into that a minute. Am I actually seeing that? I'm still seeing it. I know I'm not wearing a skirt, a dress. What's going on? And then as I'm looking, I'm aware of 3 men. One here, and one directly in front of me. And I can see a face of one man really clearly. And my whole body system changed. And I felt panicked, out of control, vulnerable. And I shook. My whole body just started to shake. And I was like, what is going on? What the hell is this? And I then realized that I was fighting not to cry. And it was just so powerful.
Holy shit.
And then I realized I didn't physically feel it. So I don't even think I'm going to say that. But I realized that this woman had been a victim of a serious sexual, well, it was rape from these 3 men, 2 of which were holding her physically and the other man doing the deed. And it was just the most horrific moment that I've ever experienced spiritually. And I've seen and felt some really strange stuff.
But why do you think that happened to you?
Maybe she realizes that maybe I could understand that. Maybe she realizes that I would not view her as being a dirty woman.
This person was living, but just wanted. But you picked up on like a memory.
No, this is a spirit. This isn't a living person. I was alone.
Right.
And maybe she just felt that she could. Or her energy felt my energy could be trusted. You've got to remember when you're looking back in time.
Isn't that such a horrible thing to do to somebody else? If she went through that herself, why would she want to do that onto somebody else?
Do you think she purposely did that? Do you think?
Well, no, I don't know. I'm just asking the question.
Do you think it was not that maybe I resonated at the same frequency? I'll start that again. Maybe I resonated at the same frequency as her, and we both connected at a moment in time of space and time that we just locked. Yeah. And I got that imprint.
Right.
It's what she's gone through in that space and time at that moment for her. And my energy has connected that. Maybe she didn't connect to me.
Yeah.
Maybe
just something you just picked up on.
Maybe she was just there
at
that right frequency. Maybe me just being relaxed put me at a frequency or a level that I could connect to something like that.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Your vibrational frequency is really strange.
Mm.
Maybe it's like what Dad said.
What's that?
Maybe
mate?
it's like an echo.
Yeah.
Echoes of the past, memories, shadows, remnants, replays. Yeah.
Maybe Kirsten just stepped into that replay.
Portal of time.
This,
Maybe.
I think I'm going to know the answer to this
Okay.
question, but
I hope not.
is it, if you could,
Yeah.
would you want these abilities, or would you, if you could, just make them all go away and not have it? And let's just say, please don't mean take this in the wrong way, but leave a normal life. Would you do it if you could take a tablet and never feel these things, never go through experiences, all your superpowers, let's say, just disappear? Would you do it?
No. And should I tell you why?
Why is that?
Because I would never feel the earth again.
What do you mean feel the earth?
I'd never feel our environment again.
Right.
I'd never be able to connect to the world that we put our feet on ever again. I just feel that I would lose the ability to
You wouldn't be you.
feel.
Yeah.
You'd be someone else.
I would be someone else,
Yeah.
but I'd lose the ability to connect to. So when I connect to things, I don't connect just to some dead person who's just walked into the room.
Yeah.
I connect to my environment at very, very high levels initially.
Yeah.
Before anything, I'm always connected really deeply.
Mm.
If I was to take that away, that's without speaking to people who happen to pop into the equation. I wouldn't know anything about existence and
Yeah.
about me existing on this planet. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
To not be able to feel the world around you would be scary for me. And then actually, because of the way that I resonate, I have empathy. I have a sense of understanding people. I have a sense of being able to place myself in a position where I maybe could understand them, or actually say the right thing, do the right thing for somebody, and actually nurture people, nurture the world around me, not just people. Have that empathy for that little bee that's now on its last little few moments of life. If I can't hear, and I do, something like it's weird, those little wings, those little heartbeats, if I can't feel that and hear that at that level, I think that would scare me.
Yeah.
I would actually be, oh my God. That's heart-stopping. That's like, what would I do if I couldn't connect to anything?
Because it's your life, isn't it? I mean, you've
I was
absorbed.
born doing what I do.
I mean, because obviously working in Bodmin Jail, speaking to people, you're constantly living and breathing and eating this, aren't you? It's your life.
I did it before.
Yeah.
Just naturally, normally, if you like, this is normal for me. This isn't abnormal. It's just a normal thing.
Do you know what you were in a past life?
My 13th century as a witch. I know that because that's where I get all my witchcraft from.
Have you ever put a spell on anybody?
I put a spell on you.
Yeah.
You have?
You've put a spell on somebody, have you?
So you actually
Okay. Can I answer that slightly different wording?
Do we like?
I have.
As long as you don't start floating.
Your fucking mate. Don't say Stranger Things again.
Okay, so there'll be two people, hopefully if they watch or listen to this, there'll be two people who have said they've witnessed me doing that already.
What, floating?
Levitation. So.
No, come on now. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that. I'm calling it.
I didn't see it.
Right. But what, did they have some mushrooms outside bloody
Hope not. You're not allowed to take drugs.
Yeah, dude, you're floating. And I was like, whoa.
I was like, whoa, holy fuck. Okay, so how do I put a spell on me?
So you've put a spell on somebody? What, for
Have
hate?
I used witchcraft? Yes.
Yeah, but have you done it for nice reasons or bad reasons?
Of course I
Or
have.
only nice?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Mm-hmm. There's no point using things that I can do for bad things.
Well, they're
Negative things.
Well, it depends, doesn't it?
No.
Depends if you've got any hate inside you or you hate
What
somebody.
could you do?
Doesn't anything good that you put on somebody have an adverse effect on somebody else?
So if I shouted at you right now, if I just lost the plot with you, would you go, oh my God, it's okay, don't worry about it, give me a hug, I love you? You wouldn't. You'd bounce straight back at me. So, and if I said to you, do you know what, you're such a nice person, I love you so much, you'd be like, oh, thank you so much, and you give me a hug, and he's like, bitch, please. Like, seriously, it's how, what you put out, you're going to get back on somebody. Sometimes it goes a bit skew if, and someone goes, fuck off, I don't like you, whatever, right? But
I was just thinking like the butterfly effect. When you
Yeah.
tamper with things which aren't natural, you end up having an effect, whether it's
Of course.
good or bad.
I think so. There's
So anyway,
ripples.
what did you do? What was this?
Nice thing.
Did you have to put like a frog's leg in and, you know?
Oh, you want me to talk about voodoo?
No. Oh, is that voodoo? Is it? No, I thought like witchcraft. You have to.
Oh,
sort
witches
of...
pull frogs' legs off, and also they cut penises off men and keep them in baskets and feed them as pets when they've been rude to them. Yeah. Do you want to go into witchcraft properly? Because that's ancient witchcraft.
Witchcraft scares the shit out of me.
Did you-
Voodoo scares
Well, what
the
did you
shit out of
do?
me.
What was
I
this?
didn't cut a penis off and keep it in
Thank
a
fuck for
basket.
that. What
I know
was-
you have. Right. Go on.
What was the spell?
Nice things. Nice juju.
Nice duty.
Nice voodoo. You know,
Oh, so it's voodoo. So it wasn't.
No,
What's the
not
difference
voodoo.
between
No, no,
witchcraft?
Voodoo is dark art. Let's not go too deep into voodoo because that is darker arts. It is usually used for changing things. Same as necromancy, bringing people back from the dead, etc., etc. So witchcraft for me is a more so proper witches connect to the environment, connect to the world, connect to the earth, the nature, the things like this. And they will accumulate and culminate things from nature to produce medicines, to produce healing and positivity. They don't just go hocus pocus,
Yeah, like the films.
toil and
Yeah,
trouble, hubble and bubble and whatever.
Squeak.
You know, if
But
you
then
want to
you've got-
get me
you-
around a cauldron doing weird shit like that, I can do that. But I don't really know what the point of that would be.
Yeah.
It's about...
I wonder where that came from, though. Like you say, everything comes from somewhere. Where did that come
Of course
from?
it
The,
does.
the cauldron and stuff.
I have met a very interesting person during my work, and he studies witchcraft in Cornwall, and he gave me a very good talk on an event that I held about the traditional reasons behind why witches wear hats and stuff like
Oh,
that.
wow.
So it goes way back because that's not real. That stuff isn't real.
Okay.
So no, it's not real to do that. To put a spell on somebody, so what? Do you want a love spell? Do you want someone
Oh, yeah.
dead? Do you
Have a
want
love
someone
spell,
like,
wouldn't you?
You know?
I'd take a love spell, wouldn't you?
Take a love spell.
Oh, but what do you mean? Would I take it? I am in love, so I don't need a spell.
Well, you don't want more love?
But in
Not
ancient,
artificial.
in ancient ways,
How do you
you
think
know,
this doesn't mean it's artificial, mate?
Yeah, it is, of course it's artificial. If something's got a spell on you, it's artificial, right?
I don't know.
It's not normal, is it?
so in ancient days, a woman that went to have
It's not
her
a natural
way,
build-up, is it?
Depends. Depends if that spell has...
No.
So if I create a
Depends if
positive
that-
force
Go on.
so that it attracts really positive, loving, kind people and attracts somebody who you would really want to spend time with, and that happens to lead into the most amazing person you've ever met and you spend the rest of your life with them, that could be classed as a love spell or a love potion.
Yeah,
or
but
a
it wouldn't be
love-
real, would it?
Are you saying that love isn't real?
No, I'm saying that forced love upon two people isn't real.
I haven't forced anything.
From a love spell, if a love spell was put onto somebody,
I think
Can you
it's your
see?
interpretation is a spell.
well, it's
So a spell is like a really
it's
generic
enhanced.
word.
It's enhanced, isn't it? A spell. If two people can love each other,
Yeah.
let's just say you put a spell on me and my missus. Okay, we already love each other.
Yeah.
You put a spell on me and my missus,
It would have no effect.
and we would love each other more, for
Yeah.
example, right? That is artificial. It's enhanced. It's not our real love.
But if you did something physical that could bring two people together even closer, is that forced?
Well, no. That's to do with fate.
Is it?
So if you could,
fate, what's fate?
well, so fate is. Well, you know what fate is. I don't have to tell you what fate is.
Fate and fortune.
So, say for example, these two people are meant to be together.
Yeah.
I would be happy with doing something where, I don't know, my phone dies and I have to go to a phone shop, and then that phone shop I meet the love of my life. That's fine. But when you start tampering with people's emotions, thoughts and stuff like that, that is artificial to me.
Okay. So if I were to
you see what
put
I'm
a
Yeah.
spell on somebody and they weren't aware of it and it happens, is that forced?
Yes,
How?
because it's not what life had planned.
But what if that was the plan?
It wasn't,
For
because
them
you
to meet me and for me to do something like that, or to meet you and you to do something like that.
Yeah. Well, okay.
It's weird.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With regards to what you
It
said
could
about...
just go round and round because
Yeah.
you can't, there is no There is no start or stop point with this.
Mm.
It is about your interpretation.
Okay.
Literally.
Oh, this is a really good question, and
Yeah.
I actually hearted it as well. Can you ask?
What, you shed love? You bestowed love upon somebody's verbal
I do.
equality?
I do. I do a
wow.
lot.
And that may have changed their whole day today.
Well, it
Therefore,
was yesterday.
That was forced.
No, it was written in the stars.
Was it?
What I wanted to say to you is when you said about
Should have
love.
started
and-
it, not hearted it.
I
and
don't know
then-
how to start it. You can tell me how to start it.
When they said about love, and then you said you put a spell on me and I love them more.
Mm.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can love somebody
No, you
more.
can't.
If
You
you
are
love
love
somebody,
what you
you love
love.
somebody.
Yeah, okay,
can't,
yeah, that's a good
you know?
point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think I was talking more of like the passion side
did
of
fate
things,
bring
you know?
us together, or did I lure you with witchcraft?
Oh, there you fucking go.
Did you
Yeah.
speak
Oh,
to
hey,
me
that's a good
because
one.
you had a plan, or did you then continue to speak to me because I mesmerised you to the point where you then felt you needed to?
You were quite mesmerising.
Oh, man. But do you know what I mean? You can ask that question all
Yeah.
over. There is
yeah.
no real
Well,
answer to
did
that.
you do
Of
anything?
course I did.
Or did she put a spell on me?
Could have.
Because I'm coming here. When you get Kirsten on, mate, you should get message
Yeah.
Kirsten.
I mean, I'm in your thought process constantly, and you kept talking about me. So is this
Careful on the
fate?
stairs. That's all I can
this
Whenever I think of you,
fate?
Kirsten, I just say, careful on the stairs. It's like, fuck. It's the end of the video every time.
Would you, on that note, okay, because on that note, would you ever go out, not at Bodmin Jail, but would you ever go out on a ghost hunt with me and Mace?
When?
Anytime.
Well, let's do it.
Okay, so the answer is yes, you would, yeah?
Why did you even ask me? Oh, wait. No, I wouldn't, because I don't do ghost hunting. But if you want me to go out on something with you and explore
What do you mean you
the
don't do
possibility-
ghost
I
hunting?
don't ghost hunt. What's ghost hunting? I don't hunt anything. I don't ghost hunt. I investigate the possibilities.
Yeah, well, that's it.
I'll
We go out
investigate
there
the
with some
possibilities
toys
with
and stuff. By the way,
Some
that...
toys.
Yeah. Oh, God. Don't you start. That there, mate, by the way, I double-checked
Hulk.
from Legworld. This, mate, picks up ghosts.
Shut up.
Yeah. It's basically, our music, our music box?
Yeah.
That thing moves.
Okay, can I tell you something?
okay.
What if I got rid of all of your toys and taught you how to do it yourself?
Then for theatrical reasons on the video, it wouldn't be very good because I could just go out in the middle of the film and go, I'm sensing this and I'm sensing that and I've just been told this, and people would be like, that's bollocks. But when you've got physical things that going off and lighting up and stuff, people will be like, oh shit, yeah. People can relate to that.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And I get it.
So,
Hearted question, please.
yes, can you ask how burial or cremation affects spirits, if at all?
For me, I would say it doesn't at all, because that's the body. It's not the spiritual energy it's left behind. And according to Einstein's theory of energy, you can create energy, but you can't destroy it. It'll just resonate at a completely different frequency. So you're not connecting to the physical body ever. You're always connecting to somebody's energy force.
Okay. And so I suppose in the religious sense, because some religions do not believe in
No.
cremation.
No.
Okay.
Me, I'm a witch. I'll be burning on a pyre somewhere. And if that doesn't happen, trust me, I'm going to come and haunt the shit out of someone.
Not fucking me.
Why? You don't believe in it, so what's your problem with it?
If that's you, Kirsten.
And then
No.
Yeah, be careful
But
on the
remember,
stairs, bro.
I've never. Where's the stairs? Remember, I don't not believe. There's a part of me that does, and that's why I do it, and that's what scares me. But mostly I don't believe.
You can't say you don't believe, otherwise you wouldn't be going out on ghost hunts unless you was just doing it for...
That's what I said. There's a small part of me that does believe,
So
and that's what scares me, and that's why I do it.
Yeah.
Like you,
Yeah.
So
you can't say you don't believe.
No, I would never ever say I adamantly do not believe, because
You're skeptical. It's a good thing to be. You need to
because
ask
of
questions.
my younger years when I used to do it, see it, feel it.
Yeah. But with being
And I've
you
always-
now, when we go out, we're doing that because we like being scared, don't we?
Yeah.
That's why we're doing it.
Yeah,
adrenaline
just having a
rush.
good
It's an
laugh.
adrenaline
Yeah,
rush.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
But what
we're
if that adrenaline rush suddenly gets serious?
Well, then that's a different ball game. But sometimes I'll feel a bit
Well, then
brave.
if you look at me and I'm a completely different person standing in front of you, what if you look at each other and see someone way different?
Oh,
Well, like black eyes or something,
fucking
mate.
hell, mate.
Fucking
Just
hell,
holes
man.
for eyes.
Oh God. That's what I was going to ask
That
you.
happens on the regular.
You know, you know,
in the jail.
that film.
Let me guess. Let me use my psychic ability. I don't know. Your brain is not normal.
The film, was it I See Dead People?
Oh,
Sixth Sense.
yeah.
So Sixth Sense, you know, when he turns around, he's got a bloody great hole in the back of his.
Yeah.
Do you
I
see?
trauma.
Okay, so this is
Or
the
I
odd
feel
thing.
it.
Okay, well, do you see it or feel it?
Both. I told you I
Okay.
see, hear, and feel.
So the question is then, why would a spirit be visually like that? If a
they're
spirit
trying to
is just a
tell me-
spirit,
Okay, so they're
of
trying
energy.
to show me a story, or that if I'm connecting to them, you know, it's a traumatic experience. Say, for instance, you've been shot in the head, and
Okay.
I would feel maybe, just for argument's sake, a pain in my skull, and then the image of that is somebody pointing a gun. I could relate that to a gunshot wound.
right? Okay,
I then can go through the trauma of the physical disability that you would go through then, and that physical disability is your death, and then I can relay that to. So this person has shown me that they were shot. They show me that they were killed by a gunshot wound to the head. How would I know that? I just know that, so I portray that information.
right.
They're showing me something that is very significant to them. When you die, you just talk about the things which are really significant. When you meet somebody, you want a good, you know, you want to talk to them about things which matter.
Yeah,
You want them to know your story.
yeah,
Why should it be any different in death?
yeah. No, it's true. Yeah, I get that.
I'm going to what Dad said about this echo and energy. Like when stuff happens, I think it replays. I'm not sure. It's just a theory. Maybe it does replay.
For me, it stays still,
So
and then you reconnect back to it each time. It doesn't move. It doesn't go anywhere.
Right.
It stays there. It's there. It's happened. You can't change that. So what you're doing is reconnecting back to a resonant frequency.
Yeah, what I struggle to believe, because of my science mind, is that there is a spirit that is living in a different world, walking around, talking to other spirits, trying to talk to humans and connect to humans, living a life in the spirit world. That's what I struggle with.
For me, spirits exist in their own frequency, and they are connecting back to the people who they once knew. And they may show me sometimes that they have this person with them, that person with them. It's really awkward when someone says, this is my grandmother, is granddad with them? And then the spirit goes, no, I was married to him for 40 years. I don't want him with me now. No. Right. And I'm like, no. This lady has such an amazing personality. She's like, not a chance. I was married to him for 40 years. And then that person goes, oh my God. Like literally that's how they would be as well. Oh my God.
Right.
It's not what they're expecting.
Yeah.
I could tell you, oh my God, yeah, they're just so together. Oh my God, because they loved each other so much. They're sick to death of each other. Literally, they don't want to be with each other anymore. Or it could be that they're just submerged within that love, that energy from love that keeps them connected. They're individual.
And that's why, maybe that's why you're like you are, where you say you don't give a shit. You just do. You know, when you're saying that, you don't care. You might say the wrong thing.
I might.
But
it's true. If someone I'm not going to lie to anybody.
Because you can't try and pick what you tell people, because then you.
I think I'm not generic.
You know?
I'm not generic by any standards, all right, which makes me just slightly more quirky or different. I'm just not generic. So if I put so much pressure on myself sometimes. I was doing a glass and table, right? A bit like a Ouija board, but not with all that fump, right? So I'm doing a glass and table, and I'm standing there and I'm struggling, and the pressure is on me, and I'm feeling it, and I'm thinking I need to give these people something because that's what I felt I needed to do at the time. And they're not getting it, and there's nothing that I'm giving them that they're believing, and I'm just like, I'm feeling upset in myself because I'm like, I really want to share something for these people because I know they want it. And then I start laughing, and I'm just humiliated. I've humiliated myself. And professionally, I'm now saying, I'm so sorry. This is a very true story. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be unprofessional. I'm going to explain why I'm laughing.
Right.
The lady that I'm talking to has just waggled her big toe on her left or right foot. at me, and she's just waggling her toe. And I'm so sorry. It's so funny. And this lady is crying, laughing at me. And she's like, show him my bloody toe. And this is what she's saying to me. And the lady who I'm trying to connect her to physically, who's living, she suddenly dies laughing on the table and went, that's my fucking grandma. And I, excuse my French,
That's
sorry.
fine. No, it's fine.
And I went, oh, that scared me, because then I was like, oh, I got a reaction.
Right, yeah.
And this lady is going, now I know that's real.
There's her grandma
like,
used to do that.
Okay, stop.
Wow.
Hold up. Can you tell me why? Because I have no clue. She says, yeah, she had her toe amputated 3 weeks before she died. She's obviously got that bitch
Oh, she's
back.
got it. She's got it back.
Yeah.
But she's happy. And I'm
No
like,
way.
woo!
Oh
And that's
my
all
God.
that is needed.
Oh, wow.
So it's not necessarily the doom and gloom.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
your son's passed away. I'm seeing a young male. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. You know, this is a young male,
Yeah.
and I'm laughing now. And this is really not funny. This is not a funny thing when you lose your child. And I'm laughing. And I'm really struggling. And now I'm getting nervous because I'm trying not to laugh. So that's making it worse. And now I've got this nervous laugh, and I'm feeling really incompetent in my job. And now I'm like, something needs to change here quickly, Kirsten, because you're going to burst out laughing, and that's super wrong, ethically, morally, and professionally. Yeah. And then I said to her, I'm so sorry to this couple. I'm really so sorry. I need to explain myself. I really feel like I need to laugh. That gives me the leeway to give myself a little bit less pressure. I can giggle a little bit, get it out of my system just for a split second. I said, but there's this little brown spaniel, and it keeps running around the table. Oh, this story makes me want to cry every time.
Oh.
And it ran up to this woman, and it was just sat there, and it was just going, hi, like not talking, because dogs like owls don't talk. And it's going, hi. And this woman, I thought she was going to collapse on me. Her husband was literally holding her, and she just burst into tears. She couldn't have children. That was her son.
She what? She couldn't have...
She couldn't have children, and that was her child. That was the young child that died was her dog. Because dogs don't live as old as humans. And so that was her son, you know? And for me, that was just a heart-stopping moment. What if I had ignored that dog?
Yeah.
So I say
So
what I
that's
want
what I mean. You can't...
when I get it.
You have to...
Because it could be so relevant.
Yeah.
I just say it.
Yeah.
And it...
You said something in the car earlier.
Oh, no,
I don't know
what?
I can't remember. Something about arm out the window. I don't know where it came from, but
Yeah.
at the time I thought to myself, what did she just
Yeah,
say?
I didn't see anybody with an arm out the window.
No, it was just random though.
Dude.
She was mid-talking and she just said
Yeah.
something about a man with an arm out the window. I was like, what was that?
Why do you dabble in this?
I don't
to
dabble,
the
I
other,
live it.
Talking to the other side, and what do you hope to achieve by doing so? Is what I would ask her.
Okay.
Oh, that's quite abrupt, wasn't it? I didn't actually read that.
Do you know, rude question, and I tell you why it's rude, and I'm laughing
Because you're not dabbling
inside.
it. We've just said
I'm
before,
not
it's your
dabbling.
life.
Can
isn't
I
it?
just ask you something? I'm going to ask, and I was always brought up, never reply to a question with a question. But I'm going all out here. Why, being that I was born
Just
like this,
before you go, it wasn't my question.
why are they dabbling with me? Why are they sharing this information? Why me? Why am I getting this stuff? I never said, today I'm going to like talk to people in the south of the country. Why did they do that to me?
Yeah.
And I achieved, what do I want to achieve? I said this to you earlier, I didn't even know what I'm doing. I'm just doing what I do.
Well, it sort of answers a previous question, which I sort of skimmed past. It said,
why are they dabbling with me?
how do you think you got this, acquired these, like, where is it now?
Abilities.
Yeah. Where did it stem from, do you think?
I was born.
So you were born with
Birth
it, yeah?
is painful. Birth is excruciating, and birth is traumatic.
What, like when we get a cold? Like when men get colds? It's the same
That's
thing.
scientifically proven.
It is,
Okay,
Man flu.
I just want to say, guys,
Childbirth.
any guys that are listening and watching, I am going to abstain from answering that loaded gun.
Were your parents, your mum or anything like that, were they gifted?
No. Oh, gifted.
Gifted.
Sorry,
Did I just
I
say
answered that just before you. Hey, Mom, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else in my family yet that has the same thing.
No.
I'm just that weird.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I totally missed that because I was reading something. What did you say then? What was the question?
I just asked if her mum or dad had abilities to.
And yes or no?
Not that I'm aware
no.
of.
No?
Everyone has the ability to do something.
Do they?
Yeah, it's like a muscle, isn't it? I
Okay,
suppose?
I'm
You
going
just
to make
sort
this
of-
deal with you guys. I'm like a muscle.
Well, it is, isn't it?
I'm going to make a deal with you
Well,
guys.
yeah, because like
you need to spend some
muscle.
no, because it's like
what she said.
your third eye, right? And not that third eye.
Stop.
But like your third eye, apparently, like most people's, it's closed, and you have to keep on.
So maybe I was born, if that was the case, with mine wide open. Maybe I see through that and not through my physical eyes. Maybe that's why when people look in my eyes, they go, "Oh no, you got them kind of eyes. I don't want to. Oh no, I don't want to even look at you."
Yeah.
How does an average person know if they have a tendency towards mediumship, and how do we develop the sense?
Well, this is what I'm saying about
Connection.
your third eye. You have to use it. You have to keep on
Connection.
using it like a muscle.
So I had a guy very recently, a lovely guy. He's an amazing photographer, and when he first met me, he was like, I don't know, I need to talk to you more. And then he was kind of a little bit on the fence with stuff. And he came and spent a couple of hours in the jail with me, and he saw something through me that he'd never want to see again. It scared him. He was taking a photograph of me, doing some photography, and he saw something quite dramatic. And he said, after being in the building with me, just with me, and having my full focus and attention, he then went on to experience things that he had never experienced before. So by connecting with me, so energy connection, he then started to realize that he was experiencing things beyond his original perception or conception of what he could. That has now led him onto a spiritual journey, and he's about to go to India in a couple of weeks because of things that he experienced from an hour with me.
So what's going to happen on our next ghost hunt, mate?
You're fucked, mate.
We're fucked,
Isn't
mate.
it?
Mate. Bruh.
You said mate.
Yeah, she
said
did.
mate.
She did, but that's
Mate.
aggressive, mate. That's
That's
aggressive.
aggressive, that is.
The way you said it was, "Hi, mate." that was.
Oh,
That was
what,
it.
at the
Hi,
petrol?
mate.
At the
You were
petrol
just about
station.
to annihilate him. You were
No, I
about
wasn't,
to like
no.
skim him with the car. You were about to decapitate him.
I was annoyed about the petrol.
Tristan Channel said, do family pets have souls and spirits?
Oh,
Of course
that's a
they
good
do.
question.
Any living creature, anything that has a life force, anything which has an energy field.
Plants,
That's
flowers?
why people
Yeah.
hug trees,
Yeah.
And at twilight is the best time for natural energy because they've gained all the energy from the sun during the day and they release it slowly.
Do spirits come to you when you're sleeping as well? Like, when you dream about your relatives and things
I
like
think
that?
that's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't understand fully what our brain is capable of, so the possibility could be, yeah. I mean, I don't know the answer to that fully. I couldn't say yes or no, but
Yeah.
the possibility is, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I suppose, when people lose relatives,
Yeah.
loved ones and things like that, what are you laughing at?
Nothing. Carry on.
What are you laughing at?
I just, yeah, go on.
Who's fucking behind me?
No, I just carry on.
What are you laughing at?
Oh, come on. Don't set me off. Come on. Come on.
I just saw something. Go on,
What did you
carry
see?
on. I just saw somebody.
Who did you see?
I don't know who it was. I just saw somebody.
Move
I
on.
was like,
Move on.
Come on, you can't just say that.
I tried to keep it to myself. It was so obvious.
It's fucking better but not be someone wiggling their toe at me, I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
No, it's just like their face.
I don't like feet.
Just saw like little face.
Don't that freak you out if you saw
Just
that?
thought it was
Ah.
funny. Well, they didn't look like that. They're not like, why do you think ghosts are always like
Because I
this?
watched enough bloody paranormal videos to know they freak me the fuck out.
Should I show you a picture of a ghost?
Yeah, go on then.
It requires me getting my phone.
Okay, yeah.
I can't just
It's
like,
fine. This is not a lesson or a test. You can bring your phone
Am I
out.
allowed to bring my
What
phone?
about
out?
shadow bastards?
Yeah. Shadow bastards. So
That's what we call them. That's what Ben calls them.
shadow people. Yeah, a lot of people see these shadow people.
Shadow
You know?
bastards, mate. Don't
Well,
call
I'm
them
trying.
people.
Don't tell me.
You
It's
can call them shadow bastards.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to explain. I'm
sort of
trying to explain to Kirsten what a shadow bastard is because she doesn't understand.
It's a black shadow that you're scared shitless of, I know.
Yeah, and I call them shadow bastards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why are they bastards? Are they never?
Because
they scare the shit out of me. I go, you shadow bastard.
That's dialect.
Okay, so can we get that to the camera?
Holy shit.
Do you want me to just send it to you? Can you see it?
Okay.
Oh, you can't see it.
It looks.
Well,
Do you know what it looks like? It looks like.
It looks like
the Grudge bitch.
It does look like a face.
It looks like the Grudge bitch.
That was pictured and photographed in the back of someone's selfie who was non-believing, very obnoxious, very naughty, very rude all night and intrusive to my night. And I went, just be careful. Be careful what you wish for. And then he went outside for a break, took a selfie with his girlfriend. And there she was, standing behind him, smiling. And I went, I don't know what that is because it doesn't exist. That shit ain't real. And then just left him with it.
What the hell?
What
I was going to ask is people that lose their loved ones. Why don't they all come back and say, "Hey, I'm here. Don't worry. Don't cry yourself to sleep every night."
Maybe they don't give a shit, or maybe
really.
Maybe no. Maybe here's what I say to people all the time. So yeah, ignore that comment because that wasn't a real answer. Maybe if you have a problem with your relationship, you'll go to maybe your best friend. If you have a problem with your health, maybe you'll go to your mum. Maybe you don't need that person at that moment in time. Maybe they will re-enter your chi, your psyche, your existence when you need that person. Maybe it's not determined by them. Maybe it's determined by us. I don't know. Maybe they don't. I don't know.
Because if I died and left my family, I would try in some way
to try and come back
to say, look, I'm all right.
But that's an emotional thing. It's emotional. It's not physical. It's nothing else. It's just an emotion. And maybe that emotion is so deep that you can't figure your way back to connect with somebody. Maybe you never knew how to do that in the first place. Maybe it's not something that you even realize you need anymore. Maybe spiritual energies don't need that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just want to stalk the hell out of you and they don't leave you be. I don't know. Who's to say they're not there? Who's to say you're not listening? Who's to say it's you that's not picking up on them? Maybe they are there all the time. I don't know. Or maybe generally they don't want to see you anymore, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
there are people
going
like
back, we're sort of pinballing about things, and I'm sorry, but the shadow bastards, I say, the shadow people poke around the corner in that, in the corner of your room that people see and then vanish.
Why do they hide?
What are these entities? What do they want? Because a lot of them, I get confused. Is the shadow man the hat man that people see when they have sleep paralysis? Is that the same person?
Sleep paralysis is a different state of consciousness where you physically feel your body.
Yeah, I've had sleep paralysis.
But you can't move it because your brain isn't awake enough to use
that's
that part
right.
of your body. So that's a science thing. That's
but when people have sleep paralysis, a lot of people see either the hat man, the
shadow bastards.
No, it's the hat man.
They do see shadows under sleep paralysis.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is the hat man. A shadow person is the hat man.
We generally dream in black and white.
The old woman, isn't it? And there's one other thing.
I don't know.
Yeah. But so
when I suffered sleep paralysis, I saw an entity. An entity was just a dark mass, but it had a conscious state of being, which allowed me to be able to communicate. You're talking about ufology and UFOs. They communicate maybe not with English language, but with maybe a sensory perception, i.e. things like telepathy and thought process. So these things are maybe a psyche of your own existence. And you sleep, usually you dream... when you sleep, you usually dream in black and white. So maybe the black shadow is a representation of the dream that you're just coming out of, that you're still consciously aware of, but can't actually, understand.
And so what are these shadow bastards then?
Well,
Like in like when people see them.
You call them people and entities, and I believe people and entities are two different things. So I see a lot of shadow people, or whatever, shadow bastards in the jail, and they are just people. But they're not resonating at a frequency
black
where
shadow,
they have
like
a colour.
a dark shadow,
yeah,
right?
You have to resonate at a high frequency to get a colour, and if you can't resonate at a high enough frequency, you're just going to be a black mass or a shadow.
So are these things bad spirits?
Are you a bad person?
Well, it's not a question I ask. Is the shadow...
It depends. What she's getting at, mate, it depends on the ghost and spirit.
It
If that
depends on the
person was bad in real
yeah.
life,
They're
then
not gonna
they'll be bad in
change.
spirit.
Yeah.
If they're a
So-
good person and then they
Yeah.
die, they'll be a good spirit.
It would be suggestible if
Yeah.
I said, "Oh yeah, because they're dark," and we associate dark with
But
negativity.
Well, that's what I
That's what
was
Ben's asking.
assuming.
Not at all.
Yeah,
That's
because usually whenever I see like footage of like shadow people and stuff like that, it comes across quite a negative.
Yeah.
You
because-
think, and you
because that's
associate
exciting,
black
then.
and dark with evil,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
So what if you were just down in a dark room
Yeah.
and your eyes adjust fully and you manage to see the outline of the person standing with you? They're going to be a dark
Yeah.
form
Yeah.
and shape.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
exactly the same. You've just got no other energy, no other light, no other connection to brighten that image. Without the sun, we wouldn't be able to see.
Yeah.
We wouldn't
yeah.
see any colour. So if there's no light, it would be quite feasible that actually maybe we just can't see them. But
Yeah.
if you switch a light on, then maybe that's too much light because energy is very subtle. Your aura is a very subtle thing.
So, talk to us about these Ouija boards then, because both me and Mace are scared shit of these things.
Oh yeah, the Ouija
I
board.
always say, don't ever bloody use Ouija boards.
So there's two ways to look at this. So I introduced a Ouija board to try and re-educate people on the use of one into the jail because there wasn't one when I first got there. And what I say is half the people in a group will go, "Don't touch one. You're just going to touch it, get demonically possessed and die."
Yeah.
You left one in the bloody drawer when we did
Yeah,
the
you
ghost
did.
hunt at the jail.
Shouldn't be bloody looking then, should you?
I was like, "Whoa!"
Shouldn't be looking.
I was looking for sugar or teaspoon or
Which
something.
is always on the side, so you should just, stop being a nosy little shit and you won't find things that you shouldn't be touching or playing
Sorry,
with.
Kirsten. Sorry.
You're very welcome.
Why did we look in the drawer?
Oh, we were just looking for
We're being
utensils
nosy,
to
weren't we?
make tea and
Or
coffee. eh?
maybe the energy from that Ouija board drew you in.
Maybe.
Fuck. So
And the
are
other
they
half of
good?
people-
I suppose are they good if you use them?
Listen, if I ring you and you pick up the phone and it's someone nice on the end of the phone. You could ring somebody and you pick up the phone and it's somebody horrible on the phone.
But isn't that like playing Russian roulette?
Is it?
What's the question? Isn't that like playing Russian roulette? If you're using a Ouija board and you don't know who you're going to get through, isn't that a dangerous game you're playing?
It's interesting. It's nice to talk to people you've never met before.
But then, what happens if these things decide to stay
Stay where? In the energy that you're in the time.
in the room that you've just,
Yeah.
you
Very
know?
likely they'll resonate for a bit and then they'll filter off and go back to whatever they were doing.
But these spirits have attacked people. You know, they can be vicious. They can,
It's demonic energy.
yeah. So, isn't that a good enough reason not to play with these things?
From my experience, and only my experience, I can't talk about other people's experiences, but from mine personally and the experiences that I've seen other people have in my company, every time that has happened, it has nothing to do with the Ouija board. In fact, they haven't even gone near one.
Right. So,
And the people that have used a Ouija board, of every single person that I have used a Ouija board with, or my team have used a Ouija board with in the jail, have never come back to me and said, and please somebody correct me if I'm wrong on this, if they have done, but me personally working with them, no one has ever come back to me and said they've had a horrific experience because of using one with me in the Bodmin Jail.
right.
Well, that's good to know. And you used one a lot.
At least twice a week.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. I
Wow.
used one tonight.
Yeah.
I used one last night. Hmm.
So,
And it was so cool.
yeah.
I gotta say, yeah.
Yeah, go on. What
I
happened?
don't know. I mean, it moves. If it moves, it's amazing because it's not like on the movies. On the movies, you like touch it and it goes, "Oh, you're gonna die," and I'm like, "Yeah, everyone will one day. Could you be more specific?"
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you not speak English now? Oh, you just weren't real, were you? because people do push them around.
Yeah, yeah.
They're very subjective. But if you get one, I always say, if you use one, 80% of it, okay, take it. Always leave that 20% of that didn't happen. Don't push yourself into a pool where you're going, oh my God, that was 100% the person I thought I was talking to.
Right. Okay, because it could be something bad.
Yeah, and then you get into the realms of non-human entities and dark matter.
Yeah, come on, let's talk about that.
That then create
Let's get really fucking spooky.
Mimicry.
Spooky. Eh?
Mimicry.
Mimicry, yeah?
Yeah.
What, so they mimic a character, a person or something.
Skinwalkers and shit.
Yeah, because isn't it isn't it sort of
Not that the darkness excites me, but whoa.
does the dark side of the spiritualism are you more intrigued with that side of
No,
things?
I like everything equally. Everything is so interesting. Because then the questions never end.
Oh yeah. So talk a little about these mimics.
The darkness is taboo, isn't it? So it makes it more exciting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, let me delve into the darkness.
That's what people are scared of, isn't it?
And people go, oh my God, I don't like the dark. I'm like, well, open your eyes then and you'll see. What can you see?
Tell me about these mimics.
Okay, I'll give you a really good example. David, who works with me, who obviously is an employee, he, not long after he first started working, he was just finishing talking to people by the execution pit. It has no bearing on the execution pit, it was just happened to be there. And he was coming across the courtyard and he did see me. He saw me standing in the doorway and I'm like, come on, David, because we've got a very short space of time between one event and another event. So I'm like, come on, we need to set up. And he's like, oh my God. And he ran across because he wants to make a really good impression, bless him. Yeah. And like, he doesn't want to get in trouble with me. He's just started this job, you know, and he really wants to achieve. So he's come running over and he comes into the building and he's like, West London. He's like, bruh, what? Right? And I'm like, oh, hey, David. Yeah, I just thought I'd let you know that I'm downstairs in the naval wing doing some write-ups. And he went, bruh.
What? Because he'd just seen you.
So it's an image. Okay. So it's an image. So he's right.
And he just went, okay. And he went, his words, fuck that shit. And he walked all the way around the long way to come to the building. He come belting down the stairs, a hell of a rate of knots. He come into the kitchen, which is in a completely separate building, and went, how long have you been sat there? And I went, oh, I just sent you a message to say I'm just doing some write-ups in case you're wondering where I was. And he went, I know, I just got it. I said, well, then you know then. I've been here about 10 minutes. And he went, oh, God. I went, sit down, tell me what you saw. And he went, how did you know I saw something? And I went,
why would this spirit do that?
Entity.
What's the difference between entity and a spirit?
Entity is negative energy always. So if you're going to be predatory and you're going to be negative and you're going to want to create a bad situation for someone, it'd be quite possible that you might lure them into a situation that makes them feel uncomfortable and vulnerable. Yeah. And people do that every day. It's wrong, but they do it every day. What is to say that negative energy can have the same influence on you and make you believe, oh, look, there's someone I recognize, I trust. Yeah. Let me go to them. And then they just fizzle out in front of you.
So a spirit is someone who's passed away. An entity, what's that made from?
Negative energy.
Just negative energy.
Mm-hmm.
How does a negative energy think?
It doesn't. It uses connection. So if you have a thought process, so David at that moment in time, I don't know, I haven't asked him this, may have been thinking, God, these people are keeping me here talking. Kirsten might be like wondering where I am. Maybe I should get back. Maybe I should see what we're doing now. And then maybe there was a very forceful negative energy in the building that went, he's new. He's
but that's
looking a bit lost and vulnerable.
But that's thinking, right?
Well, it's not his conscious thought.
No, the entity. That's the entity going, oh, he's new.
It's connection. It's a feeling.
Right. So what's a
You
demon
can walk,
then? What's
you can
what's
walk
a demon?
in a room and feel when somebody's not feeling happy.
Yeah.
You don't have them to tell you. You don't have to get them to say anything. You can feel that. It's all about connection. It's all about energy. Go back from the physical. Go back to the connectivity of the environments and the energy around us. Because before there was us, there was energy.
Right. And what's
And
a
only
demon
energy.
then?
Demonic energy.
Yeah.
Demonic energy is a forceful, conscious thinking, reactive energy force. That's dark. I mean, that's the worst. When you look at demons, if you want to use that word, which I hate that word, but if you want to look at demonic energy and place that in religion.
Why do you hate that word? Sorry.
Demons. Everything's a demon. Everywhere has a demon. Demons are going to kill you. They probably will, actually.
It just means bad.
It's an overused word. And it's associated with things that might not actually be reality.
Right, okay.
So when you're looking at demonic energy, if you look at the Bible, for instance, and sorry to keep going back to it, you have heaven and hell, you have light and dark, you have good and bad, you have pure and you have evil.
Yin and yang.
Yin and yang, black and white.
God and the devil.
Hot and cold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you have God and the devil. And the devil is always depicted as bad. Evil. Demonic.
Yeah.
Demonization of somebody. There's an interesting
So are they the ones that have been said to possess people? Or is it entities?
Non-human entities can possess people. In fact, anybody can possess anybody. Actually, if you connect it a really good way, you can. Possession is a submergence of energy, and possession is a scary word. So I would usually use the terminology submergence of energy. And it depends what that energy is and how that resonates with you. Depends on the reaction. For everything, there is a reaction. Every word you say, every physical thing you do, there is a reaction to that, and it's how that reaction happens. When I was raising my children, I'm saying you make a decision. Your decision, the reaction of that decision is based on what you've just done, and the way that goes is dependent on your decision making. Yeah.
So when people they sit there and they channel a spirit through them, and then they wake up and they go, George, is that you?
Well, like Derek and Gordon.
Yeah. How's that different to possession? Do you know what I'm saying? What's the word?
Possession is real.
Yeah, but what's that when they channel a spirit in their body? And
that is pure mediumship.
Okay.
In a very Victorian way.
So does a spirit actually go into that body then, and they can start feeling and talking like the spirit that's passed away?
I have heard people speak some weird stuff before and say things that I'm like, where did that just come from?
How's that different than to possession?
Well, it's possession. It's a form of possession. You have possessions of many different levels.
But
see, possession, everyone thinks, so I hate the word because everyone thinks possession is evil.
Yeah.
And it's dark and it's derogatory and it's dangerous. And actually possession, anything, people will say to me, the spirits can't hurt you though, can they? And I'm like, yes, they can. If they can make you feel unhappy, unwell, in pain, if they can detach you from yourself, if they can create any altered state of balance for you, if they can give you a traumatic experience, take you away from yourself, make you violent, make you deeply emotional, that's harm. It's not, you've not consented to that. That's harm. So yes, they can harm you. At what level that harm is determines on the force of energy that's projected within that environment at the time.
Well, what would you say to somebody that has a demonic spirit entity or whatever in their house that they're trying to live with? That's a good question. What would you do? Ignore it? Because some people say ignore it.
First of all, you've got to determine that it's... So say, just for argument's sake, it's a pure demonic energy. Mm-hmm. You don't live with that. It exists with you and it overrides you, over-exists your existence. So you don't actually live with it and go, for God's sake, I was trying to use the loo. Yeah. Like, stop banging the lid on me. Yeah. like, you know what I mean? Oh, there goes the chimney pot again. It's just a friendly demon that lives in my house. Don't worry about it. It's not like that. And these things are... So I know, for instance, a priest of demonology. He is a Catholic priest ordained to take part in exorcisms.
Right.
So you're talking about an energy that has been submerged within somebody and their environment and lived alongside them like a little silent thing for sometimes weeks, months, even years before it comes to that state where they need an interruption, where they need that interference to stop that from happening. You can't just rip that type. It's like somebody with a severe case of, and I'm not paralleling it, mind you, if you have a severe mental health issue, say for instance you have psychosis, where you're seeing that, and honestly I'm not putting that on the same thing because it's a really serious health issue. But if you have somebody who's suffering from something like that, you can't just go, oh yeah, okay, I know what that is, give them a pill, rip it away from them, you're done. It's not simple. Some of these things take management and time and proper execution to relieve the person of that energy, that darkness, that thing that is just suppressing their whole existence. That needs to be done every single time by somebody who actually knows what they're talking about, who doesn't just go, oh yeah, I like dark shit, I've just read that on the internet, I've read a few books, people believe me, so therefore I'm a demonologist. Right. It doesn't work like that. Because if you're not aware, if you don't understand to the full capacity of what something does, listen, here's a good example. You give me a jackhammer, don't do it. I have not got the first clue how to use it. I'm going to kill myself with that. I'm going to chop my toes off. I'm going to jackhammer something else that I shouldn't. I wouldn't give you a Ouija board and say, there you go, off you go. You've never used one before. Just go right ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Not without giving you
some sort of
guidance.
Yeah, dummy's guide to Ouija boards.
Fuck that shit, don't do it. Yeah.
But do demonic entities or
whatever
demons attach to random people? Or
why
do they
not?
choose somebody that deserves it? You know?
Deserving of
Is it random?
Demonic energy. I don't think. I think we'd like to think that people deserve the most disgusting, evil things. I don't believe anyone deserves
to have
random. A demonic energy.
Do you think
you don't curse someone with a demonic energy or bestow that upon someone?
Do you think that some of these like really crazy ass people out there, that are on death row and things like that, do you think that they've? Am I playing footsie?
You are.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Do you
it was the right foot, as in my right foot.
Do you think that
I know
these people have got like something latched to them that are making them do these things?
No.
Or do you just think they're bad people?
Neither. I think some people get themselves into situations where they have done some really bad things. And then I have an understanding that there are some really bad people out there. You've got to look at cases. We've had a case recently in this country with a lady who just went around and stabbed and killed people for no reason whatsoever. Was she born evil? Was she made to be evil? There is the question. It's an ancient question. Actually, a newborn baby isn't born to have a demonic energy, but are they then processed in life to be demonic? Some people have the best upbringings and still become this awful, heinous person. Are they demonic? No, they are just the most vile human being on existence. I can't blame that on it. I feel like poor demonic energy. Don't blame it on that little thing right there. That darkness, that's beyond darkness. That's a conscious state of knowing what you're doing. Then there are the people who are seriously ill, who have some serious mental health issues and some very serious sicknesses to do with their brain, and whether that's chemical imbalances that have created that, which is generally the case if you are mentally sick. Those people are beyond the realms of reality or your demonic presence. It's not a state of consciousness that we can deal with. It's one that has to be managed. You can't change that in someone. They are who they are. Everyone is who they are. We are molded and we're taught and we are guided. What we do with that information is up to us. There are some people who are hell-bent on just being that outrageous because they just can't do anything else. They can't be anybody else. And they are not what we would class as accepted in society. And yes, people should not exist within society if they're like that. If they are these serious people who kill. You know, we don't have death row now, but
No.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So here's a case of a guy who fires a gun because he's got a grievance with someone. The gun is fired, the bullet ricochets, it hits off a car, the person in the car, they lose control of the car smashes into another car, kills 3 other people. They're on death row for 4 murders.
Yeah.
Are they evil because they killed 4 people, or are they evil because they made a decision that was really wrong? Really wrong.
Yeah.
They consciously went to shoot somebody with an aim, with a view to do harm to that person.
Yeah.
Are they evil because the responsibility has now become the reality that they are now the person who's killed 4 people and is now classed as a serial killer?
Yeah.
Did they set out to be a serial killer? Probably not. They set out to have a vengeance on someone within gang crime that went seriously wrong.
Yeah. And I suppose
devastating.
Yeah. And finally, because time's ticking on,
Yeah.
finally, what advice would you have for somebody that wants to get into this, what you're doing, if it wants to train, wants to learn, and also what would they need to do to be safe, do it in a safe way?
Same answer for both those questions.
Yeah.
You need to go to somebody who you categorically know that is real, that isn't in it for gain as such.
Yeah.
Everyone gets paid to do a job. All right. I get accused of, oh yeah, you do that for a money-making spinning thing. I don't. I get paid to do a job. My job just happens to be what I do.
Yeah.
You need to make sure word of mouth is a phenomenal thing, and you need to look into somebody, look into them. They don't have to be world renowned. They have to be somebody who genuinely understands to exceptional levels about the art that they're dealing with.
Yeah.
Any job.
Yeah.
You wouldn't trust a lifeguard if they just saved one person one day because they were there at the right time.
Yeah.
They have to be trained. They have to have knowledge, understanding, and actually can answer every question confidently, respectfully, and knowledgeably about the subject that they're trying to, you're trying to learn. You can't just go to anybody and say, I want to be a witch. Okay, join my coven. Hey guys, join my coven. Join my coven. And sit in a room and go, and may the pits of hell rise up and demonically possess your butt cheeks. You can't just, you can't just do that. You can't. You've got to be with someone who actually is educated and knows what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Listen, you wouldn't pick a nanny for your child without knowing and looking at the references, looking at
word
feedback.
of mouth, what you say. Yeah.
Actually, don't be afraid to ask those questions. Don't be afraid to go up to that person and say, right, I want to learn this. I want to do this. How do I do this? Where do I do this? What could you teach me? How are you going to keep me safe? How can you promise me that by doing what I'm doing, I'm not going to create issues in my life?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like I say, there's so many areas we've barely even scratched the surface on most. And
it's exhausting, mate.
I hope that
my brain's just been going.
Yeah. I really do hope that we've helped some people have a better understanding, gone over certain areas and just it's been okay, not too much pinballing about, but because there's just so much to talk about and there's just not enough time.
No, there isn't.
There really isn't enough time.
We'll
and I'm sorry that I didn't get through all the questions.
But you can email me them if they want answers.
Yeah,
I don't mind.
Well, you can go onto the my YouTube channel. I've put basically the same question on Caspersight and Caspervision, so you can reply back to these people if you wanted to. And for the people at home listening and watching, if you want to see Kirsten in the flesh or spirit, you can go to Bodmin Jail,
or both.
Yeah,
at the same time.
Yeah, and see you there. And high five.
Are you coming back?
Yes.
That's amazing.
I think if we were, I would probably invite you out to a ghost hunt, or not a ghost hunt, a paranormal investigation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why aren't you coming back to the jail?
Because we've been there, done it.
But not with Kirsten.
Yeah.
Just you guys with me. You've never done that.
Yeah, well, maybe with you, it might be something different. But you would get the bloody Ouija board out and stuff, and I ain't playing that, man. I ain't got time for that, man.
Yeah, but she'd look after you though. She just told you that.
Well, you're coming with us.
Well,
You don't have to do a Ouija board. Do you think I'm going to enforce that? Too late now, mate.
hey mate, you're fucking doing one.
Bruh, stop running away.
Yeah.
Get your little bitch ass back to the board. Stop lifting off the floor in front of me. That shit's not real.
But listen, if I'm sure people will want you back one day in the future to maybe.
Anytime.
I don't know, maybe be a bit more specific in certain areas.
For sure.
But like I say, there's so much to talk about. We could literally be speaking for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. I really
welcome.
appreciate it. It's
Thanks.
been great having you on.
You're so fun. Yeah, I'll come back.
Cool.
No worries. Thank you.
Cheers, dude.
Bye, bruh.
Bye, bro.